So the Golden State Warriors have defeated the Denver Nuggets 123 to 107. Man, this is probably one of the more enjoyable games I've seen from the Warriors this season, and that's coming from a pretty small sample size because, I've watched them whenever they versus the Rockets. But today, their ball movement and the way they were able to play offense, it was beautiful to see. I mean, Steph Curry, he came off the bench today. Klay Thompson and Jordan Poole played pretty well. Andrew Wiggins and Draymond Green both played some great defense. And overall, I mean, this Warriors team, they're going to be scary in the playoffs. I think they're going to be one of the more scary teams in the playoffs and one of the more underrated teams. So we're going to go over the box score, talking about the game, talking about the Nuggets and the Warriors. So what's up? I'm JDC. If you like the video, drop a like down below, subscribe to the channel. I'd appreciate it. And let's get into the video. So we'll get into the Warriors side of things first because I think they did a pretty great job today on both ends of the floor. So we'll start off with probably the best player for the Warriors today, Jordan Poole, man. 30 points, 3 assists, and 1 rebound on 9 of 13 from the field and 5 of 7 from 3. Very efficient game, first of all. But also, this game alone, Jordan Poole, the amount of three-pointers he took was absolutely crazy, and especially from deep, he was able to hit them. The ability to not only run the offense, but being able to play some great defense. I mean, Jordan Poole today, he actually played some pretty good defense, and his ability to drive into the paint, it's pretty amazing. And he's, like 23, 24 years old? Oh, 22. Yeah, he's 22 years old, averaging around 19 points per game, 3 rebounds, and 4 assists. He's going to be here for years to come, man. This is basically the Warriors' future right here in Jordan Poole. So looking at the next player, Klay Thompson with 19 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists. Klay Thompson, he played pretty well today, 7 of 15 from the field and 5 of 10 from 3. We all know what Klay Thompson can do, providing good three-point shooting, but also some great defense. So great game from Klay Thompson. Andrew Wiggins with 16 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists, and 1 steal on 6 of 11 from the field and 1 and 2 from 3. Wiggins, in the second half of the season, was definitely starting to slow down, since the All-Star break. But he's been playing pretty well, and this game alone played pretty great. So hopefully he can keep this up in the playoffs, because I think him and Draymond are going to be the biggest keys to the Warriors' defense. So looking at Draymond Green, 12 points, 9 assists, and 6 rebounds with 3 blocks. Great overall stat line. 5 of 7 from the field and 1 and 2 from 3. Draymond, he's going to be that type of guy to do everything on the court but not score, because he's not really a scorer. But he's going to be doing everything, 9 assists and 6 rebounds with 3 blocks. Going to play some good defense while also providing some good playmaking and overall rebounding. So great game from Draymond Green. And finally, Kevon Looney in the starting lineup with 6 points and 7 rebounds. And looking at the bench, I would say Steph Curry off the bench, I mean, it was a little bit of a project, and I think it definitely worked out with him trying to come back, I think from an injury or surgery. I forgot what it was. But Steph Curry tonight off the bench with 16 points, 3 rebounds, and 4 assists with 1 steal. Great game overall, 5 of 13 from the field and 3 of 6 from 3. Pretty quiet game from the field. Only did play 22 minutes too, so you got to take that into account. But also, he's trying to ramp up his return to game action. So, great game from Steph. Looking at the other guys, I mean, Gary Payton, Otto Porter Jr., Andre Iguodala, and Bielitsa, they all played pretty well today. And that's something I really want to talk about, is that the role players today, they actually played at a really high level and definitely outplayed what the Denver Nuggets were doing. The Denver Nuggets, they are missing Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr., but it doesn't give them an excuse to play at a low level. And the Warriors today, their offense just really clicks with basically every player, and every player knows their role and what they're trying to do. And tonight, it was clicking for everyone. I mean, the ball movement today, the amount of passing and the playmaking was just absolutely amazing from each player tonight. And I think everyone did their part and played pretty well today in their part. So Gary Payton, Bielitsa, and Iggy off the bench all played pretty well on defense. I mean, Gary Payton and Iggy are both great defenders. But Bielitsa, I think he's one of the more underrated pickups for the Warriors. I mean, him off the bench being a small ball 5, it gives him some good flexibility. I'm not going to lie. I mean, I don't even know his contract situation, but he is 33 years old, so it gives the Warriors a bit of veteran experience. But overall, he does have the ability to shoot the 3 ball. Obviously, this game didn't shoot too well, 0-2 from 3, but over the season, he's actually averaging around 36% from 3. So great pickup from the Warriors off the bench. Same thing with Otto Porter, providing some good defense. 4 points, 4 assists, and 1 rebound with the 1 steal on the block. Great overall stat line from Otto Porter. And Gary Payton with 5 points and 3 rebounds. So yeah, I mean, the Warriors today, this was a masterclass from the Warriors. And if they're able to keep this up in the series and even in the playoffs, I'm not too sure any team wants to verse this team in the playoffs. I mean, looking at the other games today, I mean, John Morant and the Grizzlies lost against the Timberwolves. And looking at the Timberwolves, if you compare them to the Warriors, how much better are the Warriors than the Timberwolves? I mean, I think by a large margin, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Jordan Poole. I don't think Anthony Edwards and D'Lo are going to be able to contain any of those guys. And even with Cat being a big center, I think Draymond Green's able to lock him down, because this game alone, Green did basically a great job locking down Nikola Jokic. I mean, Jokic, he got gassed out around like the third quarter and started to not hit any shots. He went 0-4 today. We'll talk about the Nuggets side of things after the Warriors side of things, but they locked down Nikola Jokic pretty well today. I mean, the Warriors defense, I think they mentioned this like midway through the game, that the Warriors were second in defensive rating, which is pretty amazing with their roster right now. I mean, Draymond Green obviously being the defensive anchor, but also pieces like Andrew Wiggins and Klay Thompson are also some great on-ball defenders. Same thing with Andre Iguodala, Porter, and Gary Payton. So the Warriors, great masterclass today. Great offense, great ball movement. Curry, Klay, and Jordan Poole. Man, they're going to be a scary trio in the playoffs. And if they can keep this up, especially with Curry, I mean, he's ramping back up into game action, like I said. But once he's back to his original form, they're going to be pretty scary. And I think they could make a deep playoff push. Looking at the bracket, I mean, the Nuggets and the Warriors, I think this series is going to be pretty close. I originally had the Nuggets beating the Warriors this game, but looking at this game right now, I'm definitely not too sure about what I've just said. So, I mean, the Nuggets, they can come back. I mean, it's Nikola Jokic. He's been the MVP and the front runner for the MVP. He's been able to carry this Nuggets team to 50 wins. So I think the Nuggets could get one game out. But I think we got to be realistic here and to say that the Warriors are going to be taking this series probably in like 6 games, I want to say. So looking at the Nuggets side of things, we'll go over it pretty briefly because there isn't too much to talk about. Man, first of all, Nikola Jokic, 25 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists, and 3 steals and 1 block. Great stat line overall. And I want to give some props to this guy because he has been able to carry this Nuggets team to around 50 wins. And they lost today, and it's just really embarrassing because Nikola Jokic, he's trying his best out there. Most of the game today, he tried to really just carry the offense, and a lot of times the players were trying to go to Nikola Jokic for the offense in the post, and they would always double team Nikola Jokic in the post because they know all the other players on the roster aren't going to be doing what Nikola Jokic is doing, which is score. So Will Barton with 24 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists. Monte Morris, 10 points and 6 assists with 4 steals, actually. Pretty great game. But everyone else was kind of subpar. I mean, DeMarcus Cousins got ejected, I want to say like midway through the 3rd or the 4th. Man, it was looking bad in the 3rd quarter. I mean, the Warriors pulled away. And at some point, I think it was like the 2nd quarter, it was a pretty close game. But then the Warriors started to pull away with Jordan Poole being pretty hot from the field. So overall, the Nuggets didn't play too well today. They really do need Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. They just need some more scoring options, because their offense is so predictable to the point where they already know they're going to double team Nikola Jokic in the post. So if they bring in Jamal Murray, bring in Michael Porter Jr., it gives them a little bit more unpredictability on offense and even on defense. I mean, Jamal Murray isn't a bad on-ball defender. Same thing with Michael Porter Jr. I just think that the Nuggets, they aren't ready to just verse a great team in the Warriors, and their bench depth right now isn't really too great. So I think the Warriors take this in 6 games, and I think the Nuggets are going to lose this pretty badly. So hopefully the Warriors can keep up this high level of play and go Warriors. So that's in the video. I'm GDC. I'm out. Peace.